Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Rivstar, here presenting another one of the pre-tournament duo games. In this one, we have I'm an Ant in seat 4, who is on my team, and I'm in the VC right now. Well, I think I said that last one. I'm in the VC when this was recorded with Andrew and Pepsi. So, like, the three of us are basically coaching Ant. Obviously, Andrew is sort of the main coach, and me and Pepsi are just sort of there to give a bit of guidance. So immediately one just disconnects after receiving the cards, which is pretty funny. I'm not usually sure if that's... it's a very suspicious time to AFK, if that's an AFK. But, but yeah, that's not the best start to the game ever. And 5 disconnects for a second, so it looks like the site's just lagging for a bit, but or maybe the capture thing's ruining the game as usual. But yeah, one claims red after disconnecting after receiving the cards, which is funny. But so 4 is liberal, by the way, if I haven't said already. And 1-5 is red start, which it's not very good for seat 4 liberal, I guess. But 2-6 being red isn't very bad either, I guess. It's usually 3-4-7 just plays now, unless, yes, usually this is pretty good for 4 because he's going to be in a triangle most of the time, and, well, that's just usually good. But 3 decides to pick 3-5 very quickly as well, which it's not like an outing fascist kind of pick, but it's not something I would ever do, I don't think. You'd have to have a pretty good reason not to go 3-4. I think usually the logic for not picking 5 is 1-5 is, albeit unlikely, but it's possible for it to be a double drop. So, and 5 has technically touched the deck in that sense, but it's not like the worst pick ever, but it is something that, like, if 4 is liberal and you're on seat 3 and you're liberal and you decide to pick 5, then 4's always going to sort of be against you. It's sort of unnecessary to sort of cause basically a conflict at the start. And 3-5 just gets yarded by everyone except for 4. And 5 was forced, which does mean there is actually no reason at all to 9-5 here. That would literally just be showing preference in 4-5. And 4 people 9-5. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 9-5 is sort of like, that is actually sort of outing fascist in the sense that there is absolutely no reason at all to 9-4. 4 is equal to 5 here. In fact, 4 is still arguably better than 5 because 4 cannot have touched this. 4 cannot have dropped at all, whereas 5 can technically have dropped. So at this point in the game, it's sort of where you think, well, if you like auto-fashing people, then sure, 5 can always 9 to himself, and 5 should always try and get his government, so you wouldn't fascist 5 for that, but you can basically just call 1, 2, 3 fascists for 9-5 for no reason. But yeah, 4's obviously annoyed that he got 9'd, and his chat is indicative of that, which is good. 5 is thinking about his pick for some reason. You pretty much have to go like 5-7 here to not be a completely stupid pick, because if you pick 1, then, 1's still a red president, so... you can pick 1 if you maybe read him lib, and at least that doesn't mess up tracker stuff, but... I don't know, it's just not a great pick in my opinion. I would never pick 1 here. You'd have to really hard read him lib for wanting to pick 1. The only other alternative is 4, as 5 decides to pick. But 5-4 is just objectively a bad government because you have to play 7 or 1 next anyway. So you sort of, 4 is just a terrible pick because you're just adding an extra touch into the deck for no reason whatsoever. You have to play 5-7 or 5-1 here, and 5-7 is just objectively better. So I really dislike the 5-4 pick. But, high-lows like to overplay for no reason, so let them have their fun. Forces Big Dick playing coming as he 9s to 6 who's in conflict. I actually don't hate the 9 from 4, to be honest, because of 1, 2, 3, 9ing to 5. 6 is in conflict, but in 2-6, 6 does look better on that 1 vote. 3 claims blue, blue, blue here. What's that make? That makes it a 3 blue claimed deck. So this was previously a 2 blue claimed deck that 4 did not touch. So 4 had a pretty good argument for the SE here, but now 3's made it a 3 blue deck, which doesn't give massive arguments to 4 for the SE deck-wise. But 4 obviously has the fact that he was 9'd. So 3 was term locked, which means 5 couldn't have picked 3 even if 5 wanted to. So 5 can technically SE 3 if 5 likes 3. But since 5 went 5-4, 5 obviously likes 4 more than 1 or 7. So at this point the SE is just in 3-4. Because there's just no way that anyone else can get votes. Because even if 1-7, even if 1 resigns to 7, then 3-4 aren't going to resign to 7 most of the time because 3-4 should want themselves as SE. And 5's never going to SE 1 or 7 after picking 4 because that would just be outing fascist. So I think 4's chats, this game's been pretty good, so I don't think he's doing anything wrong at all. I think 5 basically said he doesn't mind SEing 4, but he rather would SE 3, which I don't know. I just don't really like the backwards pick to then SE someone else. It just seems really fascist to do that. Yes, so 5 says he's inving 3 lip, but he wants to discuss SEing 4. 6 says they prefer 4 to 3, but 6 doesn't really have a say in this game. I think 7 should just be resigning to 4. There's no reason not to, I don't think. 4 doesn't sound bad at all. 4's been 9'd for no reason. And 4 is... Although it's not a massive argument, 4 didn't touch a 3 blue deck 4 cards in. But 7 said 5 is fash heavy. I don't think a single person can be fash heavy, but whatever they say. But 5 SEs 3, which 5 is basically outed fascist for that, because I don't know, 5 got 9-2 over 4, 5 then picks 5-4 and then term locks him and then SEs 3 after saying they invest 3 liberal. But what's 3 done to be liberal is I guess the point that I'm making. It's just not logical play from 5, so he's pretty much always fascist here. So I think every coach is saying they think 5's fascist, and even when the SE discussion was being made, I think Andrew said, if you get a gun, just shoot 5 anyway. And Ant was saying they'd prefer a shot on 1. But obviously we don't get to actually see who 4 would shoot because 4 doesn't get a go, 3 does. And I really don't know why. 3 has done nothing to be liberal. 3 has voted incorrectly, and 3 claimed BBB, which it just doesn't look great when, what is it, 1, 2, 5 are all red, red, red presidents, and all of them are also voting suspiciously. Like 1, 2, 3 all voted, made an objectively wrong vote, and then 5 basically just outs fascist on his play. So you can basically assume that 1, 2, 3, 5 is all the fascists this game. And 3 picks 2 here, which, I mean, that just looks like it's 2, 3, 5 or something, and they're just gonna heil, so there's obviously not much you can do at this point. You see 4, 6, 7, who are most likely just 3 liberals all spinning here. I will say, whilst I was actively like watching this game, I did not myself have a read on 2-6 until a little later on, when I actually just made a read on 2-6 off of chat that 2 was just much more fascist than 6. But I completely sort of missed the 1, 2, 3 all 9 to 5 as it happened. I know I missed it, I just didn't think anything of it. But I mean, in hindsight, there's sort of something you need to be looking at in the games. So who's voting illogically? So when 1, 2, 3, 5 all 9 to 5 instead of 4 when there's no reason to, you don't want to ever shade 5 for that, because 5 should obviously want themselves, but you should always be, like, not necessarily shading, but just be a bit cautious of 1, 2, 3 9ing to 5 for no reason. Like, if you have no reason at all, you can just go off that vote and call 1, 2, 3 a line, and if you're wrong, blame them after the game for voting wrong. I mean, 3 has votes, nobody's going to be flip-flopping this game, so I don't think there's any reason to stall here. 7, but it is kind of unfortunate because it does just look like fascists are going to win. But 2 does not heil, which is interesting, because I did think 2 was quite likely Hitler. But what is that? 3 claims red, 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 instantly shoots 5 with no discussion. So before 3 shot 5, everyone in our coach call thing were calling 2, 3, 5 the lines. But when 3 shoots 5, it's very interesting, because then you start thinking about, is 3 Hitler just shooting the co-fascist, or is 3 actually liberal shooting 5? Because if 3 is liberal, it's just 1, 2, 5 probably. And yeah, 4 needs, everyone's telling, well, the coach is telling 4 to now fight for 4, X4 I mean. And obviously you should be playing X4 because of the fact that 5 did pick 5-4, then didn't SC4. He's obviously not going to be Hitler with 5 as fascist. Since 3 is calling 5 fascist by shooting them. 6-4 or 7-4 should definitely be the govs that play, but 3 says they'll play 7x as the 3v3 test. So 6 gets 9. I think both 4 and 7 have been libbing each other this game. I think all of 4, 6, 7 quite like each other this game, and 1, 2, 3, 5 are just being 4 fascists together. Yeah, I think at this point in the game, you just play on the assumption that it's 1, 2, 5, because obviously if 3 is fascist, you've already lost. Unless 3 is Hitler shooting the co-fascist, which then makes it sort of interesting. But still entirely winnable, because what should happen here, if it's 4v2, is 7-4 should play, and 7-4 should just take gun, I think. And I think 4 was saying they would have probably given 7 the gun. Andrew was saying he would have probably advised him to give him the gun as well. Just because of the fact that you probably do need to have a gun there just to ensure it's not 1, 2, 3. There's no reason to play a 3v3 test and then play a blue when there's only 1 of the blue on the board and 4 reds. I need to make sure I don't record these on my mod account because it's just ugly buttons in the chat box. So yeah, I mean, as I said before, at this point it's just sort of encouraging 3 to take 7-4. But I think this is sort of a case where 7 can just overrule 3 because of the fact that 4-7 cannot be two fascists. So 7 is entirely within their right to overrule 3, but it's also not something you should get into the habit of doing if you're a not a high-low player. You shouldn't always be overruling people. In fact, you should be very rarely overruling people, but in this case I think 7's probably a better, 7 I think is a better player than 3, so it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world to overrule them. Obviously the main problem with overruling someone is if you're wrong, then you have nobody but yourself to blame, and you will get blamed. But it'll be a good learn. So yeah, 7 does just overrule now and just picks. Yeah, so Force calls 1-2-5-1 Hitler, which is what we were all sort of calling in the VC at this point in the game. And obviously 7-4 should play because both 4 and 7 want it, and 4 and 7 cannot be two fascists. Unless the game's already like 3v3, which you then liberals lose, so you don't ever consider that. 3 wants 1-7 for some reason, which is, I don't know, it's ridiculous, but at this point in the game, we're all confident it's just 1-2-5, because like there's just no way 5 is ever liberal playing this way, being one of the best players on the site and making such horrendous plays, but 7-4 is 9'd, and as you can see 1-2-3 all 9 it, which at this point in the game Andrew's still firmly calling 3 just an idiot, and 5 is a fascist because of the logic that there's no way 5 plays this bad. But I actually said at this point it's just 1-2-3. It's pretty you just can't 9 a 3v3 test like that, and even 3 knows not to do that. And I do think that 3-9ing 7-4 is outing fascist more so than one of the best players on the site making absolutely ridiculous plays. So I was calling 1-2-3 at this point because it just pretty much obviously is. But you shouldn't play on the assumption that it's 1-2-3. Like if I'm in the game in seat 4 here, I think, well, there's like a 90% chance it's 1-2-3 here, but look at the board, it's 5 reds and 1 blue. If it's 1-2-3, you have, what is that, 1 or 2% win rate, and it's just not worth playing for that. It's just, I mean, if you win with 1 or 2% win rate after this kind of board and the way that this game's played out, it's sort of an undeserved win. You know, you're not going to feel good about winning by top decking 4 blues in a row. So even if you do somehow win, which won't happen, it's not a real win. So you just assume that 3 is liberal, even though they aren't. Because there's a small chance 3 is still liberal. To be fair, it's not even that small of a chance considering 3 is, I mean, they're like a sub 1700 player. But 3 picks 3-6, as well as the fact that, so obviously 4 wanted 1-4 as the alternative 3v3 test if 7-4 didn't play, but 1 just like instant picked 6, which kind of just looked like, it looked like either a vote buy or just no shame fascism trying to heil the Hitler because they're losing, but yeah, 3 goes 3-6 and just gets yard because you obviously shouldn't top deck here, it's just bad. And obviously I said 1 is sort of the 3v3 test if 7 is 9'd, but obviously nobody actually wants 1 to be yard. So They get a blue there, which means it's actually still entirely possible it's 125. 6 is confirmed liberal and 2 is confirmed fascist at this point in the game, because 6 did just play a blue on choice. Obviously 9 to 6, I don't know why 3 is saying that. But yeah, as 4 says at this point, you just call 125 and hope it is. Brucey says he needs time to discuss this with his coach, but then says he's coaching himself. So, well, our team, I think we basically had 3 coaches. I think there were other teams which actually didn't even have any coaches for this. As I think 6 is saying, I don't know whether that's actually true or not, but 6 is saying they don't have a coach right now. I know it kind of defeats the purpose of it being a duo game if you don't have a coach, but it's something like you'd still want to play anyway. Just get someone from each team in, just so other people can play, have fun. But if this was like an actual tournament game, you'd obviously make sure everyone had coaches online. That is sort of one downside to this game mode I can already think of, is the fact that with normal games you only need to have one person online to cover each game, but with duo games you need 2. And it's obviously you have like 15 players or 14 players on a team. You should be able to get 2 players online at any time, but it's not always possible, so something to consider, I guess. But obviously 4 wants 4-7, 4's been libbing 7 all game, but 6 is confirmed liberal, so you're never going to get that, so you're obviously just 9 to 6. 4 just resigns fully to 6-7, so just asks for 6-7. And the thing is, if you are in seat 4 here, you just cannot win by 6-4 playing anyway. You have to involve 7 in the game if you call 7 liberal. I think some reason either 6 called 2-4-5 as being possible, or 4's just bringing up if you think it's 2-4-5, then just pick 7. And 6 says this line of chat which makes us all horrified. 6 just has a like 1 because they've been sheeping them. And we think, oh no, is 6 really going to pick 1? But yeah, 1, 2, 3 outlines, 3 outs them, and 1 is Hitler. So that means 5 was a liberal this game. So 5 is one of the best players on the site, who goes 5-4 and then SE's 3 after quote unquote inving them liberal. Which is very interesting to say the least. 7 says, give me an explanation. DM me an explanation. 4 says, who is 5's coach? We were all making a joke in the VC about 5 definitely needing a coach this game, because they obviously didn't play very well. Maybe a bit of a theme with Hemi is that he just doesn't do well in tournament games, but it is a shame because he is one of the best players on the site. But yeah, that was a very unfortunate game. Very well played game, I think, by all of 4, 6, 7. Maybe less so by 5, but yeah, ends with a fascist winner anyway. So that's all for this video. I'll see you in the next.